Hello again. I thought today I would break out Hammer again, given that I now have a new laptop which is capable of running Windows things, because I swapped away from a Mac now. And I thought I'd break this out and make another video for mapping because it's been quite a while. So this is a map that I've been looking at recently in the last maybe week or so, which it started off as a different map. This is the sort of second iteration that I've tried. It's a versus Saxon Hail map, and I wanted to have the kind of the quirk of this map being that when the point is enabled at the end of the round, and if you want to try and cap it, you've got this periodic hazard of trains coming along that you've got to watch out for, and potentially even some sort of secret area if you manage to jump into the train, like into one of the cargo carriages as it's going past, and get essentially outside the map. Then you hit a teleport trigger and you go somewhere and you can get special effects applied or something like that. Haven't quite decided what yet, but that's something to put in potentially further down the line. And so I was going to do a bit more work on this and film it for posterity and potentially educational reasons. So where did we get to before? This is what it looks like. This was what I've been doing recently. Sitting on a train, no less, putting together some cornfields and things. Because what I wanted to try and do was have this as... I named it Everclear, and I wanted it because Everclear is like a grain alcohol. And I wanted to have it be sort of a cargo station for grain of some sort. So sort of farmland and train yard combined kind of aesthetic. So you've got the farmlandy bit here, you've got some chutes which I made entirely out of brushwork, which I'm quite proud of. They did take a little bit of a while. That goes through, oh that's not the one, that's the one. A comes out here, and then in theory, in the magical narrative land of this map, trains would come and stop there and take grain from this conveyor belt and then go off to wherever they're going. So that's the setup, and this is sort of this kind of bit is the central bit. I guess this warehouse is the central warehouse, which I decided wasn't decided from the start, but I decided relatively early on because it felt like things were starting to centre around this bit. So I wanted a route around here, I wanted a route round here, which actually turned into two routes. There's one underneath, the one on top, and then there's this extra. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here yet. I liked this with the little overhang and being able to jump between things as a scout, get onto this roof. Roofs are always good, and any time you are fighting on a roof, especially in the Saxon Hail map, roofs feel cool and they give you high elevation and all that kind of stuff, so I like including at least one. And so then this staircase happened, but then I was going to take it up here and I don't know yet, because then I blocked this in to be another building. This is still a work in progress. What I was looking at most recently obviously was this side. I think this is where Saxon Hail is probably going to spawn right here, so then you can take the the high road around here, or the low road underneath the little tunnel, or you can go around to this side, or you can go in here and straight through. This is crouchable, by the way, so you can go through there. And actually, as a sort of a layout, I quite like this, the way this map's turned out. I'm never all that great at layouts. I like taking individual things and detailing them and making them look kind of cool, but actually putting it together from a complete overview perspective, I'm not very good at. So I'm actually quite pleased with how this has come along. Actually, the first thing I want to do is something that I noticed a short while ago, which is that actually, if you're here, there's no real way to get up onto this platform without going all the way round and into this building and out through this door or through that bit, or coming around here. But basically, there's no proper way to get up there, so I've got to try and work out a decent way to do that. You could probably jump it as a scout, but that's not really good enough. So I'm not sure what the best way to do that actually is. I might put in a Ooh, okay, that's actually a fairly decent idea. Put a staircase in, sort of take a chunk out of there, put a staircase in there, or take a chunk out of this wall and have a staircase coming up and around. I think the deciding factor is going to be how much width do we have. So I don't want to... Or we sort of take a chunk half out of there, half out of the building, and have you come up. I don't know. I think the safest thing, what we're gonna, because that's almost a 256 unit climb, so it's going to take a fair number of stairs. I think coming up and around is going to be the best idea. So let's start on that. Just basically get that great big building out of the way. And right, so how big is the ascent? It's not quite 256, but it's not far off. It's 240, right. So what we'll do is, right, I think you go in there, come up here, come out there. So first of all, let's work out how wide we want these stairs. I want a lip of about 16 units there, I think. Make them 128. It's going to be cramped anyway. I don't think we can really make them any wider than that. Right. Oh, that's not quite what I wanted. Now, what I think actually might be a good idea, I was going to do the standard ratio of 3 to 2, but we're quite short on space. I don't think that's going to work very well, so I think I'm going to make them steeper than that. I'm going to make them 5 gorge levels steep. I'm not actually 100% sure what that steepness is, but I know it's quite steep. As long as it's less than 45 degrees, we're okay. Right. I'm going to block this out for slope purposes only. So we need to get up to there. Now I want to do half of this one direction, half this the other direction. So we're going to do half of that, which is there, and we are going to. So 45 degrees would be that. Maybe 40, no, it's quite steep. I'm going to go, so 2 to 3 is standard, 3 to 3 is 45 degrees, so I'm going to go, so 2 to 3 is there, 3 to 4 is there, 4 to 5 is there, I'm going to go 3 to 4. Now, I have no idea how this is actually going to work out in terms of how many stairs you have on that slope, because that's not really a very nice slope. Okay, I'm going to move this to there, put this to there. So those will be the outsides. I'll cut them into a proper shape in a bit. Right, so 2 to 3, 3 to 4 was what I did, which means they're 12 high, 16 long. Actually, that might be okay. They'll be chunky stairs, but then we knew that in the first place because it was going to be a steep incline. So something like that. I think that would work. The other thing I will do, in fact I'll do it now, is give them a bit of a gap. So they're 8 tall, but we're actually going to sink them down 12, so they've got a 4 unit gap vertically in between them. There we go, that doesn't look too bad. Oh. They don't align very nicely, that's the only thing. Okay, I'll just put up with it, I guess. Take this back out to 8. Use that. Whoops, that was a mistake. Okay, now I'm going to turn these into proper trim. That was select the middle, press Ctrl F, it makes a new vertex. Right, and then I'm going to, so I know the gradient is 2, 3, 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, perfect. Okay, no, not quite perfect, because it needs to be deeper. Take it out to there. Or do I want, actually no, I want to go one grid level finer than that, so that it aligns with the bottom of the stairs. There we go, that's better. Right, and then we put this down to whatever level it needs to be. 3 to 4, that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah, fine. That's the level we want. I want to replace this now with the trim that is on the other side. I'm actually going to chunkify it. Chunkify. Sounds like a spell from Harry Potter. Right, may end up just cloning this again once I've textured it, but move that down to there. Look at that. Perfection. Cut that off there. Right, then the footprint of this is that. Right, cool. I think that works. And also, I think that's probably the right height as well. Now I'm going to wrap it up in wall. Okay, that's that. Let's do the other sides of it as well. That bit. That bit. And that edge, and I'm going to just steal some, I don't know what texture that's going to be yet. Steal that. My general rule with textures is that if I know something specifically that I want from an aesthetic point of view, like this, the aluminium sort of step plate thing with contrasted colours, then I'll just go for it. I generally do with nature textures as well, because I feel like it gives you a better impression of what the cliff's going to look like if you actually got some rock texture on it, and for things like alpha blending and stuff it helps. And then if I don't know, just grey until we sort it out. You don't want to be spending loads of time picking textures, because then if you have to rebuild a building, all the work you put into choosing the textures that is then irrelevant. Right, I've just realised this is going to go back one, because we need this, and actually I'm on grid size 16 and not 8, so it needs to go back that far. And the floor needs to go back that far, and then this whole thing can be shifted back by 1. That's still fine, and then we could put an 8-unit strip of white aluminium step plate in there. beep, beep, beep. Good. Add that to the existing func detail and we're sorted. Right. Now, one little cheeky thing I am going to do is take some no draw, add in a tiny bit underneath, which I'll trim to the correct size. It's going through there. 3 down, 4 along is the gradient. Then we get that extra fragment, we copy that over. And, oh, turning null groups off. Add those to that. That needs to be a func detail anyway because there's no reason why it should be blocking visibility. Right. I reckon we want to stick to the same metal aesthetic that we currently have going on. I'm going to use white on the edges. Actually, in fact, I can take a look at what we used for these. So it's white on the edges, white on the vertical faces, then reddy brown colour on the horizontal ones. It feels like there's a step missing there. I think I will... Is it going to look better if I shift the stairs this way or platform that way? I'm going to try the platform first of all. Actually what that means is putting that in. Then it looks weird down there. Okay. Let's move these like that. Yeah. We'll have to clip these. I think that looks better. Right. So let's give these a good clip in. Right, I do actually want to keep some bits of them. We do that. Then we select the underneath bits. Then we can clip along there, get rid of the left hand side, keep those triangles. Right. And then actually we're going to do everything so it's flush. Again. Good. Right, and then we want that. Oops. Yeah, I'm not going to copy paste these stairs when they're textured because these ones are clipped differently now. I'll just texture them all by hand. Right. And once we've finished all the texturing, the most important part of making stairs will happen, which is clipping them. Because otherwise if you jump while you're going upstairs in TF2 and they're not clipped, you go flying off at a weird angle because you ricochet off the side bits of the stairs. So, especially on these because they're steep, if they're not clipped you might not even be able to get up them because you can walk up a steeper flat slope than you can vertical inclines with stairs. So I'll get these finished off, which isn't going to be long now. And then what we'll do is for stairs with gaps between them, we'll first use player clips because grenades, actually I don't know if grenades would be able to fit through there. I mean the trade-off is if you use standard clip, you can build sentries on the stairs as long as the incline isn't too steep, because the clip essentially acts as a floor for the sentry. If you use player clip, the player clip only clips players, it doesn't clip other things, so it doesn't act as a platform for the sentry to be on, so you can't build sentries on the stairs because it's not flat. I think we could probably just get away with normal clip here. So what we can do, choose that. Accidentally translated. Oh, right. And you don't want to tie clips to entities because they don't cut the visibility tree of the world anyway. Right, get rid of that. See that one? There we go. Somewhere in there is the right slope. Alright, yeah, that's alright. So these are all funk details, good. Clips obviously aren't. Put it in place. Flush with the floor, cool. We are done. And as an added bonus, you can use this as a hidey hole to hide away from Saxon Hale, potentially. Not that it would probably be a very good place, but... Now, do I want to add any trim to this bit? Any white trim? Oh, I know what I do want to do. Just move these back. Okay. Now, do we want white trim? Let's have a look, see what it looks like. Cut that strip off. I know what I want. I want just this bit in the middle to be white. Is that, or do I want it around the edge, the outer edge as well? Yes, I do. So actually, I want to clip this bit. In fact, right, hide these. Hide these. And we're going to do this properly. Pull these in. Bring this entire thing in. And then put some white trim around that side. There. 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 Then we can colour that in white. Obviously have a look at it underneath as well. I'm going to keep that as just a flat white face because I think it looks okay that way. No, I thought that was a chip out of the geometry, but it wasn't. Right. Then we unhide, and then, oh, I know what I want now, to just trim the edges off there. I'm going to let the clip stay down on the floor because that's for collisions, you would actually see it. There we go. Wonderful. I like that a lot. Cool. So that's that. You can now actually... Oh, I spy some no draw. You can actually get up now without having to run all the way around the other side of the building. These, I'm not quite sure what these are going to be yet. They definitely need to be that high for visibility blocking purposes and for sort of looking like they're part of this building. Further than that, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to leave them for now, try and bring some other bits of the map forward more. Right, what shall we do? Oh, this, by the way, the clips on this thing are shit. Oh, you can't actually see them at the moment because it's an instance. So I manually clipped it with block bullets. And you can sit on this as a soldier if you want. Or as an engineer if you're feeling particularly daring and skillful with sentry jumps. What was it? Oh yes, this is where it was. I'm going to put this bit in. So we've got a... It's probably easier if I switch to 3D textured because it just fucks with overlays, I don't know why. We've got this road coming in here in between the two cornfields. There's this very carefully placed piece of brushwork to hide the boundary between those two. And so that's one road in. That was actually added as an afterthought. The original road was going to be down here, and I'm still going to have something here. And then this route, which was primarily for players to come up and round, but narrative-wise is for trucks. So, what I'm going to do... Actually, I think I'm going to do a very similar thing to what I did up there. I'm going to take these, I'm going to raise them up. I'll keep those. Are these actually off the... No, okay, there's two pieces. Right, so then these are going to be raised 16. That's going to be raised 16. We're going to have a very similar bit here to cover up the boundary between terrains, and then actually I think I'll have a concrete road on this bit here, and then some natural floor of some sort there. So, let's create these little wall bits first. I could have done it all in the left-hand view, I suppose. Right. Put some in here as well. Copy this over for the 1 unit high hiding brush. Funk detail them all. Actually, that's a good point. Did I funk detail this one? Yes, I did. All good. Oh, that's why. It looks like it's floating, but... Well, in fact, that bit is floating, but I don't care. That on top. This isn't actually going to be a playable area, so... Oh, no, I tell a lie. We do need to text the other side, because you can still see it from down here. Get away with it before, but not on this side. Right. And we'll need one piece of extra fence, which I think will probably be this one. Yes, there we go. Stick that one in there. Actually, I'm going to turn it around so that it joins up with the... Oh no, it doesn't join up with the pole. Where's the extra pole? Was it that one? Yes, it was. Take this and put it there. In the end. Okay. Oop. Right, that's good enough. Now, let's create the concrete bit of road, which will be this bit. That far will do for now. Now I'm not sure what type of concrete I want. Oh, bloody caps lock on. Right. Jesus. Here we go. I'm thinking maybe that one. Yeah. Okay. And then, oh, that was exceedingly lucky. The displacements will just tessellate. To reset this back to its alpha, I'm going to just draw it, create it again, invert it so it looks like that. We'll paint it in a bit, although it doesn't really matter too much because there's a border in the way, so it doesn't matter if it's discontinuous. Right. I'm going to cut this and use the fact that it's underneath the building to hide the transition to it being the correct size. Right, that's good enough for me. And then as well, I want some kind of acceptable brush border. Maybe something like that, although it is overlapping. Maybe something like that. There, excellent. That works for me. And then what we can also do is close some of these long, pull them out a bit to. I'm going to shape this a bit more as a cliff, because that'll always good to add a little bit of relief to displacements, so that you get a sense of how far they're going to cut into your well, playable area or non-playable area. But it gives it, having a better shape gives you a better idea of how much space you have to play with. Do that. Rough it up a little bit. And then switch over to X, do a similar thing on this side. Okay, that looks alright to me. Just sew these back up. Cool. Now, I think there'll be some ground here, that it'll be implied non-playable. What I mean by that is that we won't have any explicit tall boundary fences there, because that's just going to look weird. Or maybe, I don't know. We'll put something somewhere near this border, which implies you can't jump out there. It's the same technique that's used by Hydro, and actually they commented on it in the developed commentary. There is, between the big radar dish point in Hydro and the one with the bridge, it's very difficult to describe them. It's the one where there's a road that kind of comes up and goes round, and all it's got is a little sort of motorway barrier styley thing on the edge, but they said that it was obvious enough to players that that wasn't playable, that it just, like, you didn't need to put anything more there. It didn't seem weird that you couldn't jump out of that bit, and it's going to be hopefully similar here. It won't seem weird that you can't get up there, because it's clearly not supposed to be somewhere that you're supposed to be. So, oh, I know what we can use. We can use the Dust Bowl shed. The only thing is, where is the Dust Bowl shed? In A, B, or C? My guess is going to be B. In the Abujam Snark mapping resource pack, where it's just galleries of props. I cannot imagine how long it took to put all this together, but I am forever grateful to ABS. Right, I think it's probably going to be one of these, is it? We've got some nice roofs. Not quite that one. Not quite that one. That's the one. I have to pick a roof for it as well. Or maybe the roof in Dust Bowl was just brush based. Or maybe that one would fit. I don't know. I'll just make a brush based roof. Anyway. So this can go here. Further up. And we're going to have it facing away, or at least the door facing away. Okay, before I do that, I'm going to put a roof on it, because we don't want to rotate it without having made the roof first. And then we'll face the door away, so that it's obvious that you can't actually get in. and then maybe put some little picket fences up, and that should be good enough. I've just got to make sure that it actually makes sense that with the fences here stop there. Now, the way we make cool looking roofs. A 4-unit overhang. Oh, I'm going to need that on so we can find the gradient, which is that. Then 4 units up, 4 units up. Take away the outside bits. That looks alright, that looks alright, that'll be fine. It's outside the playable areas, no one's really going to care. Clone it. And if I'm remembering correctly, Dust Bowl had a tiny little bit more to this roof. We go one grid size further down, cut that bit, and then cut that bit as well. And then we've got a little extra bit of trim running across the top, and we can flip there. So that's the roof. This is all from memory. Once upon a time I looked at the Dust Bowl hut, and it was bloody ages ago. I can't remember what it was. I don't know how I can still remember that's what it looked like. Well, not exactly like that. I think those probably went further down, but I don't care. Now we want metal. And we want that one. Let's rotate it a little bit. That looks better. Underneath. That's good enough for this. Oh, hang on, actually. Make sure it's actually vertical. It's good enough for the sides. And then top, we'll use a different metal, which is this one. There we go. That's that. Then I'm going to group those so that they don't go missing from one another. Rotate it that way, put it maybe there. I'm going to go back to this and steal a tree. Which tree? I've already used the poplar one. I want to use another poplar one. Let's see how it looks first of all. Okay. Don't know why that appeared there. That is, there we go, that's the right height. I should really put some floor in first, but fuck it, who cares. That'll do. Oh no! I've been an idiot. I forgot to switch texture lock on when I rotated that roof. Texture lock. Spin that around. Right, better. I'll paste this tree in again. That's too high. That's better. I'll put it there, and I'll put in some floor, which is going to be similar texture to that. Now the floor has to align with both of the walls. Oh, switch texture lock off again. Floor has to align with both of the walls because it needs to sew with both of the walls. Displacement. Create. I almost never use anything other than 2 because it's easier to just split your displacements up into smaller brushes than to give them higher subdivision powers. And you never want subdivision power 4 in TF2 anyway because it screws with the physics. But I mean, that's more than enough triangles for this floor. So I don't see why you'd want, like, the more triangles there are to handle, the more difficult it becomes to make nice looking shapes with displacement. So I just keep them as low as I can, really. We're gonna roughly make them look okay, and then we'll sew, and that will sort out any discrepancies, and then we can add a bit of height as well. Right, that's good enough for me. Take all of these. So, right, we're probably going to adjust these props once I put the height in. I'm going to crush it down a little bit to give it more of a kind of natural look, but I'm not going to crush it down too near this side, because then it's going to, players are going to be thinking more, this isn't a very high distance to jump up, why can't I get on it? And it's going to become less plausible that it's outside space. So something like that. Make this radius up a bit more. Make this a bit more of a hill. Also, because this ground is sort of like, it's like hay or grass or something, I'm going to paint the alpha a bit to make it look more appropriate, and also I'm going to smooth this out because it needs to be a bit flatter for that. Okay, I'm going to switch back down to 15, hold shift and move it manually. There's one thing I do quite, as very, very primitive as the displacement tools in Hammer are, I do quite like that you can just grab individual vertices and pull them around. It means you can be 100% precise if you need to be. The only thing I wish it had was some sort of snapping to some value. You have to estimate it everything by eye. Right, now I'll bring this up to there. Being a bit slapdash with this, but it's outside of the area, so not too much of an issue. Bring that up to there, and then we'll paint these properly. Right, let's start from a blank canvas of shitty looking dirt, and right click paint some things. I'm going to widen that to 2. I'm going to add it more strongly over there because it's next to a field full of grassy, wheaty stuff anyway. We will need some more props, I think. Maybe a rock or two. Let's have a look at this again and find whether... Oh, maybe we want one of those. I'll leave that for now. Let's find a decent rock. Oh, I forgot. That would be cool, but it's quite high poly because it's playable in Badlands. I don't know whether we want to just waste a ton of polygons for something that's outside the map. I'm going to choose one of the standard rocks because you can change the colour. I'm going to choose that one. And I'm going to put it here. I'm going to rotate it a bit. Embed it in the floor. In fact, I'm going to turn it the other way so that we get to see more of that little rock on the end. There we go. And that's not the right way. Rotate it something like that so then we can bring it up slightly more. And I'm going to have a look at what skins it's got. Skins 0, 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah, that's a better shade. Cool. There we go. What are the collisions like? That's fine. This doesn't have any collisions anyway. Right. Now, what I want is the little fence. The little dust bowl fence. That's not the correct entity. Static props. Right, I can either hunt around for this in the Boojum Snark packs or just search for it myself. Oh, look. The last thing I was searching for was a fence anyway. Right. That's a good potential substitute, but not quite the one I was thinking of. There's all security fences. Ooh, electric fences. That could be cool for some of the more industrial looking bits of this map, I don't know. That's way too long. It'll be that one. Now, these don't have collision models either, so I'm going to set that to not solid. The tree that didn't have them was already set to not solid because the packs has saved it like that. Right, and then I'm going to put these together in a ramshackle kind of way. We have this. I'm going to need to stick it in the ground more than that. There we go. I'm going to move it further that way. It's still actually in the ground, yes it is. Like that. And then I'm going to do this all by hand. Just plug it together. You know what would help if I did that? And then I can see what I'm doing in the 2D view. Let's bring this up slightly. And then we can slowly step it up as the hill increases. That rotate it very slightly more. Put it together. And we have scope to push it up very slightly more. So there. Cool. I think I'm going to put one more in on this end and then put some more in on the other side. That'll do. Actually, I'm going to take it down very slightly. Cool. Then these. That in there. They're actually starting to go into the floor quite significantly now. There. Let's put it out again. That high. Okay. This is a very symbolic fence. It doesn't do very much, but it doesn't need to because it's only outside decoration. And one thing I'm going to do we have a single post for that fence? I can't remember. Posters. That's not quite the post I was looking for. More poster. Oh, now we're into Half-Life stuff. No. Didn't need to do that. Ah, yes we do. There it is. Oops, that's the wrong key. Terminate that fence. There we go. So that now says this bit's out of bounds without having a great big bloody barrier in the way. The only thing I'm wondering about is, do I want a different texture? Because it looks, I just don't like that green. That colour, it looks weird, it's too green. I want green, I want actual grass. Oh, I've hit caps lock again. Right. Maybe that one? See what it looks like. Oh, actually that's not too bad. I need to invert it. It's still a bit... It's a bit green, but it's better green because we've actually got grass to play with. I think I'm going to add more grass. I'm going to change the balance of the texture painting. So more grass here. Grass is going to be the base, and then the detail, so to speak, is the bare bits of grass or rock or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, something around that rock. Have some of them around here. And then I think more grass there. Cool. Now, the question is there enough detail in that texture? Is it very impressionistic? It would be good for something like the 3D skybox, where you're not really focusing on the texture, but this one's actually got a fair amount of detail in the ground itself. Because even though it is out of bounds, it's only just out of bounds, so you don't want to be skimping too much on the detail, and the contrast between that and that looks a bit shit. I like the colour, but I don't like how wishy-washy it looks. What the hell are we doing? Perhaps we can use one of these. I would prefer these ones to these ones, because this is just linear blend between dirt and grass, and this one's actually masked because you can see the shapes. I'm going to just have a look at what the detail version looks like. That means it's got detail sprites potentially, even though they're not showing up. Oh, but it looks better already. Right, okay. Just in case that the hammer doesn't handle detail sprites very well, just in case they turn up as something weird and loopy in game, I'm just going to go with the no detail one. There we go. That is significantly better. Might even change the rock type. I don't know how well that's actually going to work out, given there's two completely different types of rock that will then be next to each other. But could I just change that rock? Would it look alright? Maybe. That looks nice on its own. That looks nice on its own. I'm not sure whether they work together or not. I don't know. Maybe if this was clearly distinct from that. Also, now I need to change the colour of this rock. That's probably not helping. So 1, 2, 3, maybe. What? Oh, that wasn't what I chose. That was nowhere near what I chose. What? Oh. And the model browser's frozen. Why are you doing this to me? I can't remember which one it was. Is it that one? I think it was that one. Yeah. Actually, even that's not the right colour, is it? That wasn't what I wanted. Right, I'm just going to cycle through the skins. 3 is that. 2 is... no, that's different again. 1... actually, it's not too bad. It's fairly similar. What's 0 like? Actually, 1 looks the best out of all of those. Which I think was the one we were on before anyway. Maybe more dry dirt around that rock will help. I think it does. A little bit. By way of compensation, might add some more grass on the edges. Yeah, actually that is looking better. The grass actually coming out to the edge. Thing is, I don't know where that fits. I can't decide. Maybe if I took some of the... right, okay, I'm going to try something. That wasn't what I wanted. I'm going to clone these over. And that. Get a bit of extra space. And then I'm going to start painting dirt. So all of that is sewn already, that's fine. Let's paint some alpha. Make that even bigger. Maybe somehow we could do a switch from this texture to something more similar to that texture. I'm not quite sure. Or, actually, I was going to say I'm not sure how. Maybe we just put another cliff in, even if it's a very small one. I reckon that could work. I'll leave that as it is. Yeah, I think that could work. So I'm going to trim this down. Then I'm going to put a cliff in here. Come on, there. Is it here? No, it's there. Bring that down, bring that up. I'm going to cut this up in a minute. Use that. Line it with the top. Put this into a displacement, which is way stretched out. And I'm going to cut it up along grid lines because that's as good an option as any, and add a corner bit over here as well. And what I deliberately want to do is to make these not match up, because if I have to end up sewing things, I don't want things to sew together that shouldn't be sewing together, basically. Okay, I'm going to hide this because it's getting in the way, and I'm going to add some shape to this. I'm going to use distance about 5, going to whack the radius up, that's good enough. Was it X? Yes, right, so I'm going to pull this out. Just fucking squish it in every direction, it doesn't matter. I'll bring it out the other direction as well. X-axis, bring that down a little bit so I can pull the top out. Some more here. Right. Okay, that's alright. That bit's looking a bit flat. Okay. One other thing I'm going to do while I'm at it, let's pull this up on Y. Look at that. There we go, to hide the crossing point here. Okay, cool. Then we need some floor on the top here, which is going to be textured with grass in a second. Okay, grass, displacement, power 2. Create these, clone them down so they align with the walls, because everything's going to need to sew together. Right, so the main base is going to be the grass. We need to invert that. Then we're going to light this up a bit. Start pulling this, pull the middle bits along as well so that the edges don't look too stretched. So that it vaguely aligns, and then we'll sew it all at the end. We don't necessarily want it to actually run over the top. We don't want to pull it far enough that it runs over the top of the cliff, because then it's gonna, the sew is going to squish things together. We want the sew to stretch things apart so it looks better that way. Right, that will do. I'm also going to take the opportunity to add some relief vertically. Push that up. I'm just going to push it up quite a lot more. There we go. Oh, the annoying thing about displacements is the edges never go as high as the rest of it, because you can only go up as far as the edges. So if you're here, they get affected by height less than they should do, so it always looks a bit strange. Right, now, sew it all. We'll add a little bit of alpha painting so that it doesn't look quite as harsh, the border between the grass and the edge. A little bit patchy. Then we can add some poplar trees as well, they look quite cool. There we go, that'll do. Come back, Mr. Tree. I'm going to put you here. And here. I'm going to put that even further back. Put it way back here, so that the distribution is not quite as clustered towards that end. Cool. I'm happy with that. Do they align? No, they don't align. That's fine. I will just raise this up though. That's far too big. Cool. Better. I think that palette of grass and dirt and hay stuff just about works, given the hay is isolated to here and grass is elsewhere. Yeah, I think that's okay. Cool. Right, actually, in terms of this, I think I quite like it as flat as it is currently. I don't think anything there needs to change, but I will paint some gravel in. And take that back down to 2. Maybe a little bit more down here. Bear in mind, hammer, well, specifically TF2 hammer. Left Dead hammer's a bit better because I've updated it, but If it doesn't actually show the masking between the painting, it's just a linear blend between completely sandy or completely rocky, or somewhere in between. Left 4 Dead will actually take into account the mask layer that is between those two, so you'll start to see shapes where these come out first, and then the sandy stuff is in between them, depending on the shape of the mask. That'll happen in game as well, obviously in TF2. It just doesn't really demo it very well in Hammer, so it looks a bit shit, but in game it looks better. So what I might do is give this a bit of a compile, and then we can run it up in game and see how it looks. It's not going to be lit yet because I don't have any lighting, and for a good reason, because I don't want to spend the extra time doing the lighting compile just yet before I've actually fitted everything together. So what we can do is switch on Cordon mode. Cordon Freeman. So what this does, if you have never used it before, it basically puts a great big skybox around the map. It's like a huge box. Anything in the box is compiled in. If you do that, it starts to cut chunks out. Things that are outside the cordon. It won't let me undo that. There. Things that are outside the cordon get clipped away and are removed from the compile. So you want to put that up there. If I were to bring this in, it kills that stuff off. So you want to put it around the bounds view map. It then essentially acts as one great big skybox. So unless you specifically have the object of an entity that's crossing the border outside, did I say the object? The origin of an entity outside the borders, then you shouldn't get any leaks. It basically is just saying, I want to compile this area of the map, without having to construct all the brushwork that goes around the edge to seal it all off. So I don't know why RAD is taking that long to do the sum total of fuck all. There we go. Then engine windowed. Oh my god, my laptop is about to run out of battery. I'll let that boot up. Plug my charger in. Or maybe it'll never boot up at all. Here we go. There we go. Laptop's back on live support. And here comes TF2. One thing I do have set is a specific resolution for the game to start up in when it's windowed, and then I also force in the launch options in Steam, force it to be full screen with an appropriate resolution, so then whichever mode I'm starting it up in, it's always in the appropriate resolution, because otherwise if you start it up windowed through Hammer and then you start it up through Steam with no other launch options, it'll just default to windowed because that was the last thing it opened in. Right, let's run around this. I forgot to put spawns in, that's a good point. MP, waiting for players, cancel 1. There we go. Right, why does this feel so sluggish? Maybe it's because the battery's low and it's gone into power saving. I tend to use the soldier to, if I'm just quickly having a look around the map, I feel like the soldier's quite good because he is relatively slow, so you're not going if your map is like overscaled, which it is quite easy to do, and you're running around it as a soldier and it's taking way too long to get anywhere, you know it's overscaled. And people do quite like being soldiers, so if it feels overscaled to you when you're running around as a soldier, it'll feel overscaled to players. The other thing is that he's got relatively versatile mobility, because you can use the rocket jumping and all that kind of stuff, so you can use that to test out being able to get up to different places using rocket jumps as one method. Obviously scout double jumps and sticky jumps for demos as well being other methods, but rocket jump at least allows you to test it out. So this is what it's looking like in full bright mode because we didn't have any lighting, but that's fine. We're not at that stage yet. I want to make sure that you can actually get in here. You can. Excellent. That's what I wanted. This will be a little place for... Oh, you can't quite get out. Maybe I could lower that. Make it walkable. Anyway, I wanted somewhere for engineers to be able to like hide escape tellies. You put them behind these barrels. Then if Saxon Hell's walking past isn't looking close enough, he's not going to see it. So that's completely black because we didn't run lighting on the map and for some reason it fucks with the overlays. That's the bit we just made, which I think looks quite nice. It also gives us a good point at which to terminate this big fence thing. If we get up to there, then the fence will come to a natural stop. It's not going to just look like you've got an arbitrary fence that ends for no reason. It'll end actually at the cliff, perform a narrative function to stop people from coming in that way, unless they climb up the cliff, of course. This bit I'm going to fill up with other details soon, but it's not going to be playable area either. It is a little bit of a gamble actually putting detail in at this stage before I finish the map, but in some ways, fuck it. I'm in a creative mood today. I want to actually make some stuff that looks nice, so that's what I'm going to do. If I have to delete it later because it doesn't work, then I will bite the bullet. Now we can get through here. If you noticed in Hammer, I've got little... Why is everything black? That's really weird. I've got little clips here because that is a larger distance than you can step up, and it's sloping as well, so it means that it's very difficult to just walk out of here without having to jump, which is annoying and feels unnatural. So basically what I've done is made little stairs out of player clips. So this one, that's enough of a distance that you can walk up automatically, and that is as well. So essentially you walk towards that and you walk up a very small staircase made out of invisible player clips, and it means you can actually just walk through this. If it wasn't there, you'd hit that and get stuck. Oh, we can have a look at the stairs as well. I forgot about these. Yeah. Excellent. And hide under. In fact, you don't even need to crouch under there. That's good. It means it's less awkward to use it as a hiding spot. Oh, the sensitivity on this computer is not high enough. Completely failed that rocket jump. You designed this bit so you can jump up here and through here. Still don't know what to do with that. Got to decide that at some point. And then jump onto this as well. Got a little bit around it. There will be gates there. So yeah. If you're not someone who has extra mobility, you'll have to use those stairs, but that's fine. They're, I think, well placed. You don't have to run too far to get to them. That will be out of bounds. It's just not yet. And the lovely farmland vista. Cool, I like that. I think that works pretty well. A good, how many, 3/4 of an hour? Something like that? Good 3/4 of an hour's worth of work. And slightly cheating now, because you can't actually run around this, I haven't clipped it off yet. Cool, so that's that. I think I'm going to leave it there because I do actually have other stuff I need to be getting on with today. I need to get washing out and all that kind of thing. I'm going to be flying out to San Francisco on Monday, so I need to be getting stuff ready over the weekend. But there we go, a little bit of detailing and my thought process and how I technically construct stuff in Hammer, and we've made ourselves a nice little chunk of the map over there. Perseverance will mean that we get more of the map later on. Maybe I'll make another video for later bits, but yeah, need to get off and do some stuff right now. So until then, I will see you guys next time.